So welcome to the neighborhood. So this is our home for a couple of days while we get our work done.
We're Chris and Sandra. We started America's Great Loop in July of 2023, but it all started in 2022 when we bought a boat we named Thataway. On a foggy May morning last year, we said goodbye to Port Dover and headed down Lake Erie through the Welland Canal and onto Lake Ontario. We had a summer of fun boat projects and explored Lake Ontario and the famous Canadian Heritage Canal System, the Trent Severn Waterway. We spent the spring of 2023 overhauling the galley of Thataway, and we took off in July, even though we have lots more to do. Join two not-so-young kids as we make our way around the 6,000-mile loop of North American waters.
Outside the harbor. It's supposed to be a storm coming in this afternoon, but we're out of the water. So the next couple days will be all about repairs while this storm passes. So welcome to the neighborhood. So this is our home for a couple of days while we get our work done. Joe's the guy that runs the yard, and very knowledgeable, very capable, interesting fellow to talk to. We actually enjoyed helping out a little bit, cleaning up around the boat and getting it put up on blocks. But now it's lunchtime. So here she is out of the water. We found this wooden ladder in the bushes, so we're using that. The dinghy's still hanging out the back. We thought maybe we'd take it down, but maybe we won't. And we knew that the blue paint that we put on in the spring was coming off. And Joe came over when he started power washing it and said, I don't really want to go hard at it because it's peeling off. We said, okay, we're going to sand it down anyway and put some more paint on before we leave. And he worked on it a little bit, and then he came back and he said, you know what, if you're going to take it off anyway, I'm just going to go for it because it was coming off. But we're kind of disappointed. I thought there would be a section that might come off because I'd forgotten to sand a section, but this is everywhere around. He was also really careful power washing the ablative paint because obviously that comes off, it's supposed to. But he did a great job. He worked on the white part of the hull too, which is getting a bit dirty. But we'll wash it down tomorrow or the next day, depending on when it's cool to do it. So we're nestled between a couple of big do-it-yourself jobs. This one has quite the story. It was supposed to be picked up and shipped to Scotland to be repaired and put in to keep with the family. It's a 1950s Chris Craft. It's got a wooden hull, and it's been on the hard for so long that the hull is, probably unrecoverable. Anyway, they were supposed to come and barge it, pick it up and then barge it somewhere, St. Louis or somewhere, Miami. But now it was too expensive to do that, so now they're thinking they can do it out of Mobile. But the person who's running the yard here says that he still is kind of waiting for when that's going to happen. But amazing, amazing boat. Chris playing follow the leader with the drone, although it followed him there. Whoa! Ooh, good recovery. Where is it now?
It's gone into, it's out of its mode.
Where is it?
It's just been
Where?
below the power line.
Oh, I see it.
just finished painting the stripe. So I'm back taking a look at the depth transducer that I pulled. This is it here. It goes in this hole here. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in a bit. Hard to make much out down here. Anyway, I got it out of this hole here. It was pretty straightforward. I just had to get rid of the locking nut that was on here, and of course it had been epoxied in once it was set. So essentially I had to crack the nut off. I just broke the nut. That was the easiest thing to do. And then once I'd done that, all I had to do was put a pipe wrench on this thing and twist it, and that broke the remaining seal that had been used. I'm not sure what they used previously. Obviously it was some sort of marine sealant. Yeah, so then this just dropped out. The new sensor, I've already mounted the through-hole piece. This is an interesting sensor because it actually comes in two parts. You put the through-hole piece in, and the actual sensor just clicks into place and it's gasketed. The idea is you can pull the through-hole, you can pull the sensor if you need to work on it. There's a little flap in here that's supposed to close up. If you do that, it's not completely waterproof, but it's supposed to block the majority of the water that would come in if you in fact did that while it was in the water. Don't know if we'll ever do that, but it seems like a good idea. Other issue I want to tackle is the leak that we noticed in our propeller shaft seal. And that's going to be a bit interesting because honestly, I don't even know what kind of seal we have. I think it's a very bog standard drip seal. So in other words, it's packed with some sort of felt. However,
what does bog standard mean?
Very boilerplate.
Oh, just what anyone without money would use.
Yeah. It is a nice unit, and it's in really good shape. Like there's no rust or anything, so that's really good. So I'm going to disassemble it and see if I'm right. It does have it is fed cooling water from the engine, which surprises me a bit because you really only need that, from everything I read, if you're you have a fast boat that can plane, which we don't qualify. So I suspect there was some overkill going on here. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I doubt I'm going to change anything.
Are you saying that at some point someone replaced it and just went overboard? Like overspec'd it?
It could be. It kind of looks like a replacement. I doubt it was original. I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't think we need engine cooling. So if I'm right about this seal, because we really haven't paid attention to our propeller shaft seal to this point, it should drip really, really slowly underway, like one drip every now and then. And that drip guarantees that you're continuing to lubricate the packing, and that's not going to overheat and burn out. The fact that we've got a cooling line means that that isn't necessarily an issue, and maybe it will seal tight. Anyway, I've got to open it up and see what it is. Working on the propeller shaft stuffing box, and I had to pick up flax from, I got it from West Marine. This was the last package of 3/8 inch flax that they had. So I pulled the flax out, the old flax out the other day. It's kind of interesting, assuming that this went in as 3/8 inch flax. I don't know if you can really see that, but man, has it ever been compressed. So probably definitely time to replace it. I pulled out 5 strips of flax, so obviously I'm going to put 5 strips back in. And what you do is you cut one piece of flax to just fit around the shaft snugly. So you cut 5 pieces, and then each piece you put in, you offset by 120 degrees. The idea being that the offset minimizes leaking between the layers of flax. And then, of course, I'll reseal, reattach the pressure nut, whatever you want to call it. And I won't set it too tight to start with. And once we get in the water, we can decide how tight we want to set it. All right, I'm going to tip the camera down a bit, and hopefully you guys, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to make sense of what I'm doing here. So, starting to run out of jobs here on the hard. But one of the jobs that I started and haven't finished yet is replacing all the zincs. And in our case, we're going to go from what should have been magnesium to aluminum. But it would appear that we had more zincs. Most of our zincs were actual zinc. I think because the previous owner had planned to head south before it didn't work out for them. So I've got a rudder zinc, a shaft zinc, and a hull zinc to do back here. So I'm just cleaning up the copper in this case, brass, copper, and going to use a little blue Loctite to lock these in place.
So here we are, New Orleans. We got here this afternoon and then promptly napped. We worked on the boat all week, despite being quite sick. And then Chris broke something yesterday, last minute. So now we're waiting for a part to come. Excuse me. So we're not going to get the boat back in the water quite as quickly as we thought, but maybe not too late. Friday, maybe?
Yeah, I hope
Friday.
so.
Anyway, we're here. Chris wasn't happy. Anyway, we're here. We're trying to enjoy the evening and tomorrow and just forget about the boat and have some fun. Here's Jackson Square. Oh, train. Here's Jackson Square. We just got here. There's live music on the street, and it's a beautiful sunny day. They say that their train whistle. They say people heading south chase 70 degrees, but there's been a bit of a cold spell here, so I'd say we're lucky if we're chasing 60 degrees. But for Canadians not in Canada, this is pretty good. This is Andrew Jackson, a Union general. And Chris was just saying that it's kind of unusual to see a statue of a Union military person in the South. And then we just took a picture for a lady who said, yeah, get him in the picture as long as he's here. So I suspect there might be something going on about removing him. Not sure. marketing here. Look at, they've got Oliver Twist, the chrysalids,
I used to love books
Wuthering
like this.
Heights, all the classics.
Morning.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
The ones that are closer to photographic, are those painted or is there...
He works from photography, so he's a photographer, but he does a million. I wish he was here to tell you what he does. It's such a complicated process, and when I try to explain it,
It's
he's here, and I can just see him cringing because if I forget one little step.
yeah, no, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, but he puts them all in a nocturnal setting, as you can tell, pretty much. One light source, like the street light.
Yeah.
But I'm actually quite taken with this one.
You know what? People have, we get comments all the time about that, and yet that one's been here longer than any other one.
Yeah. Don't know if he's going to let us in.
Thank you. How do we get off? Thank you. You too.
There's a tiny tin man in the sand. I see a flower in his hand, greeting all the mighty waves to land. There's a little girl with golden hair, running free with no despair. And I wonder who has brought her here into this playful place, this playing space with sparkling grace. I wanna sing, sing, sing in 1,000 ways. There's a pretty picture in the sky, cloudy dolphins floating by. Just imagine how they play and hide. So let us call upon the force we keep within. Send our love away. Invite the universe into this playful place, this playing space with sparkling grace.
Hey everyone, we're still on the hard. I've just climbed down from the boat and put my boot on. I've elected not to wear it on the boat or coming up and down the ladder. I just find it feels very unsafe. Not sure what happened. Got to ER. I felt pain in my foot for a couple of days. Hard to walk on, so went to ER yesterday, coming back from New Orleans. And they said it wasn't broken, thought it was some ligament damage, sent me to a specialist. Specialist this morning said that the ER didn't take enough films, so they took more x-rays and they found 2 breaks, one in the toe and one a little higher up on the between the toes and the ankles. So the boot is what's I'm being told to wear it as much as possible. Obviously, if I don't feel safe, not to wear it. And feeling very sorry for myself, so haven't really been posting much. But for those of you who I've been texting with, who've been listening to me whine, thank you, thank you.
So, thought I was going to be wrapped up the work that I'd planned to do on the hard before we went to New Orleans. And of course, like all good plans, that didn't work out. I was actually at my last job, which was changing the zincs for the bow thruster. And one of the bolts wouldn't come out. And if you've ever worked on a bow thruster, it's a bit awkward because you can't really get in there with tools. But it was stuck, so I tried a number of things, and ultimately what I tried was to drill it out. And I drilled it out, and I got a tap in there, and I couldn't get a tool on the tap, so I couldn't turn it. Anyway, long story short, I had to dismantle the entire thing being the entire bow thruster. And it's in pieces up in the bow of the boat, and as you can see, there's just a hole here right now because I pulled it out in a bit of a panic, and of course we didn't film that. And when I finally got it out, I had done so much damage to the bolt that it was pretty weak, and I tried to take it out with a pipe wrench on the bolt, and of course the bolt just failed. What that means is the meat of the bolt was still sitting in the threaded housing on the bow thruster. I sheared off flush. So at that point, you'd have to try and tap it out again and rethread the housing, all of which is possible. So I'm keeping the old housing, but I just decided to get a new housing. This became way more involved than I'd hoped, but it is what it is ultimately. So I just got the new part. It's all shiny and brass. So this is the leg of the bow thruster, and basically the bolt that went in here is what's failed, and I couldn't get it out. And like I said, I still have the original, and I'll probably look at rebuilding it. But regardless, this needs to go back in this hole, and I'm going to seal it with some silicone, and so I'll seal this surface. They say to do it top and bottom of the gasket. That'll go in, and then this goes in from the top inside the boat and is the housing that mounts the motor. And it just goes down like that. It seems to have a gasket as well. So I'll gasket that in and seal it. And we should be good to go. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. It's been for both of us, it's been a kind of a frustrating couple of days. And it's got an orientation. You guys are on the port side of the boat. So I'm putting the P, it's stamped on the frame closest to you. And up it goes.
Oh, did you put a new one in?
I'm putting a new one in, yes.
I got you. Oh, yeah.
So at least it's shiny. I'll give it that.
everyone, we're here at Grand Mariner, our last night. Tomorrow we take off and start heading east. We're pretty excited about that. It's been just over 2 weeks here, probably a week longer than we'd hoped for all the number of reasons that I've been talking about. Broken foot, being sick, broken parts. It's been relatively easy being here. The staff are pretty good, and the fellow in the boatyard was very accommodating. So we really can't complain about how we've been treated and how our time has been, and it's been quite affordable here as well. We are looking forward to seeing some more palm trees, clearer water, maybe some warmer weather. So tomorrow we're going to try to meet up with our Canadian friends on Outer Limits and meet maybe at an anchorage or two in the next couple of days to see them before Christmas when they go back home. We're not sure what we're doing for Christmas yet. Anyway, we will be taking off not too early in the morning, but probably around 7 or 8. Thanks for following along this week. Next week, we make our way across the Florida Panhandle in anticipation of a Gulf crossing. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave comments and questions below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
I don't know what it is you